everyone, it's Joyce. Welcome to the vlog and maraming salamat that you're watching this episode of Adulting with Joyce Pring, the podcast. It's actually available on Spotify, iTunes, and all your other favorite podcast providers. But I'm really happy that you're watching this episode here on my YouTube. And while you're here already, please don't forget to like, to comment, and of course, to subscribe to see the other videos that I'll be uploading. And of course, enjoy this episode on toxic positivity. Okay, so the topic for today is something that we've constantly seen online in the past couple of weeks. It's a term that I have never seen in my entire life, but have been fairly acquainted with in the past few months, and it's called toxic positivity. And someone from our group actually messaged and she said, "Hey friends, what are your thoughts about toxic positivity? Should we stop being too critical during these times? I keep seeing this on the internet and it's interesting. Is toxic positivity depression and anxiety's pitfall?"
When things are going really bad already, you just decide to forget all of the bad and concentrate specifically on what's positive. For me, toxic positivity is turning a blind eye to negativity just to be able to have a positive mind.
It's like when you're having a really bad day and somebody goes to you, "You shouldn't feel that way. You know, life is so great. You have so many blessings in your life." That's pretty much it. That's toxic positivity. And here is how you differentiate toxic positivity from positivity that's actually healthy. Toxic positivity disregards the negative feelings of the other person. How you do healthy positivity is you actually acknowledge it before offering up a silver lining.
And we've said it on the show many times. There are no right or wrong feelings. If your friend, for instance, okay, Joyce, let's say you have a friend that has that toxic positivity mindset. How are you supposed to handle it?
You have to understand that first, some people use positivity as a coping mechanism.
Yes.
And that also is a telltale sign of their own anxiety and their own, their own fears. Kind of make them understand why you think that their positivity may have a negative effect, not just on you, but in the future people that they'll be talking to.
I see it as toxic positivity comes from a place of privilege. They're coming from a place of privilege where they don't know what it's like to not have those things. And that's why they feel like, just brush it off and just smile, because they're coming from a privilege that they're not going through the things that you're going through.
Yeah, and I think, the boundary that we have to kind of draw is to not automatically jump into the conclusion that someone is positive just because they're privileged. The fact alone that you can make a counter argument saying that their positivity is toxic also means that you are standing on a place of privilege.
Exactly.
Because if you weren't, then you really wouldn't have the time, the energy, or even the capabilities to stand this argument and go like, "No, I think you're just privileged." You're also privileged. We're all standing on a certain level of privilege. As human beings, we have a tendency to always expect other people to live the life that we want to live. This is my life, this is my worldview, this is my culture. You should respect it, or you should live by it, or else you don't even care. You're just intolerant. But that's not the case. We're different human beings, complex human beings at that too.
How do you draw the line though? Joyce, for you, how does it become positive? At what point does positivity cross into that threshold where it's toxic positivity?
That's hard. I think that's a moment by moment, step by step process that you have to go through every single day. And it really takes a lot of empathy, compassion, and as we always say, reading the room. Read the room, read the kind of situation that we're in. Here's the pitfall of toxic positivity. When you don't acknowledge the wrong in the situation and you just spew out positivity like it's always a good thing, you don't leave out area and spaces for the situation to actually be better.
I've always been blessed that I've been a realist, somewhat pessimist at times. So I've always been someone that, if something good happens to me, I'm always like, oh, something bad's right around the corner. Like I've always been that kind of way. So I've always acknowledged everything that was positive. I always prepared for everything that was negative, and I always lived right in the middle of the two.
So
Where
realistic ka.
Yeah, well, sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but wait. I found a doctor in our
Oh.
SOS group.
Okay.
And her name is Maria, and she says, in psychology's therapeutic communication, it's called false reassurance. For example, when someone comes up to you and wants to share his or her problems, the cliche response kaagad would be, okay lang yan, or magiging okay din ang lahat, which is non-therapeutic kasi it's like you're trying to invalidate the other person's feelings. Again, invalidation is the difference between toxic positivity and just plain out positivity. Minsan, kapag may isang tao na lalapit sa'yo at mag-share ng feelings, hindi naman necessary na may response ka or kailangan i-uplift mo kaagad yung damdamin niya. Or kunwari, ikaw, di ba mas magagaan yung pakiramdam mo kung may nakikinig sa'yo instead of communicating what they want or what their perspective is. So, I think what Maria is getting at this here is sometimes you don't really have to be incredibly positive or even just, always have a response whenever someone is going through something. It's okay to not say anything.
I think maybe toxic positivity in Tagalog is may masabi.
Yeah, pwede. Actually, pwede. It could be
Diba?
categorized as, kasi maraming mga meme.
Mema ka lang eh.
Mema ka lang. Oo. Tama. Tama din naman. Yeah, but sometimes, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes whenever people do that, although there is a 50 or 90% chance na mema
There's
lang
good
sila,
intentions.
there's always good intentions.
Always good
so,
intentions.
I want to give people the benefit of the doubt and actually think that they're coming from a place of real positivity. It's just that they don't know how to explain it well. But you're right. Sometimes you also have to acknowledge that some people just want to say something, so much so that they end up saying dumb things. Let's call it what it is. Let's really call it what it is. But let's move on now to, I guess, parts. How are we supposed to deal now with toxic positivity?
So the way that I see it, whether it's, individual or, online or anything like that, I have gotten to the point where I really don't, I mean, I will read what people say, but I make sure that it doesn't bother me to a certain extent, whether it's good or bad. The best way to do it is treat everything online like YouTube comments. They're just there, read them, but that's it. They don't really mean like all that much. Just take it for what it is. And there will be people that will say things that you don't like. Trust me, I'm a guy in sports broadcasting that has had many people really hate me because of things that I actually, when I started my career, people were saying things and being toxic, towards me because I was a dude, like just because of that. So whether it's toxicity or toxic positivity, anything that you see like this, just acknowledge that it's there, but move along.
You're right. And also, apart from acknowledgement, just try to deal with everybody and general toxicity, whether that's toxic positivity or toxic
Should you treat it the same way?
comments. Yeah, I think so. I think apart from what you said, which is just acknowledge and move on from it, the third one I'd have to say is if you have the chance to really be able to impart new knowledge on people about how they should see situations instead of how they are now seeing it with toxic positivity, instead of telling them that you're really dumb for being so positive when the whole world is ending, instead of going on about something as negative as that, you could actually go on and have an intellectual discussion and tell the other person, I feel like that kind of positivity could actually result to negativity if you don't watch yourself.
Another way that you can look at it is positivity is toxic positivity is there is no problem, let's look past it, everything will be fine. Positivity is okay, there's a problem, It's gonna be difficult, but we can get through it.
You got it, dude.
That's how it's done.
You got it, dude. You know, that was a great question. Thank you once again to
Yeah.
everyone in the SOS group for sending in their responses to Tang, who had this amazing question. And
But if you guys have any more questions or topics, please do send them in through www.joycepring.com. You can leave us a voice note over there, or through our Anchor site, and through the Facebook page.
that's right. But in the meantime, that's it for this episode of Shot of Sanity. Thank you once again for making us number one and please don't forget to join in our Facebook group. It's Shot of Sanity SOS the podcast. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Paalam.